concrete steps you can take to fight obesity. You know which aisles in the supermarket have the healthy foods and, of course, which aisles don't. But you may not realize that when you're home and you open your refrigerator, there are all sorts of hidden fats that could make your family obese. Here's NBC's chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyderman.
Childhood obesity is no longer breaking news. It's the everyday epidemic that is becoming a national disaster. Dr. Darshak Sanghavi is a pediatric cardiologist at the UMass Medical Center. He has concerns about his young patients' hearts.
Even though we don't hear about little children having heart attacks, the process of cholesterol depositing in the arteries and actually starting to gum up the heart can begin.
Even more ominous is the future forecast.
For the first time, children can be expected to live for a shorter time than their parents.
Common sense tells us that healthy habits begin at home. But could staples like milk, bread, yogurt, even applesauce be making your family obese? We asked registered dietitian Elisa Zaid to show this family of 5 those hidden fats and sugars lurking in the average fridge.
Jill, 2% milk. What is this doing in your fridge?
Is that bad?
2%. Did you have any idea how much fat is in 2% milk?
None.
2% milk has 5 grams of fat per cup, whereas a 1% milk has 2.5 grams per cup. So you're saving half the calories from fat by switching from 2% to 1%. White bread. All right, Jill. Why do you have this in your fridge?
Well, my kids honestly love this bread. Okay.
This stuff, you know, there's like no fiber or maybe 1 gram per slice in a white bread. On this one, let's see what you have here. 3 grams of fiber. That's what you want per slice. Make sure a whole grain is the first ingredient when you're looking at the ingredients list. My eye is going right to the juice. What is this exactly?
Well, they love it. The kids, they come with me to the supermarket, they pick this out, they drink it in the afternoon with a snack. They love it. What? How bad is that? 26
grams of sugar, and it's not 100% fruit juice. The portion size is great if we're talking about juice, but you only really want to look for 100% fruit juice. Otherwise, this is like drinking candy. Oh. I see you have yogurt, but you have the fruit on the bottom.
And that's not a good thing?
It's loaded with sugar. A 6-ounce container of plain, unsweetened yogurt will have anywhere between 8 and 10 grams of sugar. This has how many grams?
26.
My rule of thumb and my best advice is buy the plain, unsweetened, low-fat yogurt and add the fruit yourself. All right, we have applesauce. Who eats applesauce in your family?
Everybody.
Applesauce is wonderful, but tell me what the second ingredient is.
High fructose corn syrup.
Do you know what that is?
Sugar.
You got it. So what you want to do is buy the unsweetened, natural applesauce, read the label, make sure it just says apples. So you'll save half the calories and you'll cut out all that added sugar that you just don't need.
5 simple solutions to fight fat and your family's war against obesity.
And Dr. Nancy Snyderman joins us here in the studio. Hey, Nancy, how are you?
Hi, Matt. I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, so now we looked in the refrigerator. We saw some simple things we can do to improve the health of our family. And we're going to talk now something you are. Portion distortion.
Yeah,
Talk
right.
about making you fat.
Well, this is really the difference between what our parents ate 20 years ago and what our kids are eating now. It's disgusting how different it is.
And this is basically what we're used to seeing, for example, in a restaurant or on our plate at home, that we think is now a normal portion size.
And if it's on your plate, Matt, you will eat it.
All right, let's start with the coffee lovers, okay? This is the cup of coffee I started drinking when I was a young adult.
But
right
you
here.
aren't anymore.
No, that's true. This was 45 calories.
It's an 8-ounce cup of coffee with a little whole milk. This now has milk and maybe a mocha syrup in it, and basically you've 245 calories versus 45.
And what you would have to do to burn off that extra amount of calories, you'd have to walk an hour and 20 minutes.
Right. And remember, 3,200 calories to burn 1 pound of fat. So by the time we get through this, you'll see how easy it is to put on that weight.
Let's stick with the breakfast idea here, okay?
Typical bagel.
20 years ago.
You got it now, you think, what's wrong?
I think
Why
I
are
got
they
ripped
cheating
off.
me?
No question
Right.
about it. This is the size of the bagel we tend to get at a store right now. And what's the difference calorie-wise?
Oh, it's, what is it now? 350 calories. And that's before the cream cheese, the butter, and all the other stuff. And that's white processed bread. It's not so great.
So for the viewer who's chowing down on a bagel this size this morning, you know what you're going to have to do to burn off the extra calories from this one? You're going to have to rake leaves for about 50 minutes.
There you go.
Okay?
Now, turkey sandwich.
This one's
We're coming up with
ridiculous,
a-
Nancy.
Well, look, I don't think so, Matt, because this is a normal turkey sandwich. 200, I'm looking at it, 320 calories.
Right.
That's a normal turkey sandwich. Now, I know you say you don't eat hoagies this big.
No, I mean, that's a monster.
I see
That's a
people walking
Dagwood.
down the street with stuff like this, and yes, they do eat it. So you're almost doubling your calories.
And it would be
again.
820 calories.
That's
Again,
right.
the difference, you'd have to ride a bike for an hour and 25 minutes just to make up the difference in the 20 years ago versus today.
And the amount of time that you're telling people to exercise right now, people aren't even walking up the steps at work, let alone riding their bikes
So
for an
clearly
hour
this
a
is
day.
all creating overweight
Now,
and
this I
obese
think is
people.
really important because now we really look at plate size. This is what you and I would think is a salad plate before the entree, and this is now the entree salad. And before the salad dressing even gets on, 350 calories, and you know what? You double the plate size, you double the caloric
And we
intake.
haven't even started by bigger plate size. You're going to have to put more dressing on
And
that.
look at all the croutons.
Yeah, well, I like the croutons,
Of
okay?
course you do.
So to take care of those, you would have to actually burn it. You'd have to walk the dog for an hour and 20 minutes. The dog would be just saying, get me home by
The
now.
dog would be saying, give me the pizza on the next
Have a
plate.
smaller salad, get me home. Real quickly, the pizza difference. This was the size of the average slice 20 years
Same
ago.
old thing. Look at the size of the pizza slice and the spaghetti. Same thing. Size of bowl, size of plate.
And on this one, just to make up the calorie difference for this, you'd have to play golf for an hour. So in my
Well,
house,
for you,
so that's a win-win.
Like, here.
You get the bigger piece of pizza and
know
you get
what?
to play
Here,
golf.
Matt.
But you're right.
Now you get to play golf for 4 hours.
It is it is amazing how we've been conditioned to accept this as the proper
You know
size.
what? And the
versus
problem
that.
is really, if you have it in front of you, you will eat it.
That's true.
So everybody at home, put your big plates away, grab your small plates, and just change your mind frame.
And I thought those tips for the refrigerator were great also. So
yep, they
thanks for
help.
that. Nancy, thanks.
You're
Informative
welcome, man.
series. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. And coming up next, a young woman. This is an amazing story. She chose to